All right, thanks for joining our webinar today. I'm Chris Featherstone and Business Development Manager over the AI and ML services and specifically over language and speech. And I'm excited today to have two esteemed colleagues with me, Priyank Goel, who's in charge of Senior Product Manager over AI and ML services, as well as Sachin Goel, who's the Senior Engineering Manager for Amazon Chime. So today in our tech talk, we're gonna talk about how to integrate real-time AI and ML utilizing your existing telephony or PBX and your existing contact center. And it's a really exciting topic for us because, when we actually really get into the meat of what's going on within the environment, within the conversations that our customers are having, we get to the opportunity to help our customers solve these problems. Like truly understanding, even if they have a contact center and they've got years of experience, they're still coming to us to understand who the customer really is, why they're calling them, and what they can do for them in terms of really providing their needs. At the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is provide this personal connection at scale. And so we want to help them understand and ask questions from these conversations like, who they are, what do they need from us, and how can we best help them? What is it that they've been spending with us? What does that look like in terms of their loyalty to us? How can we actually provide more loyalty to them? And then what is it that we can do to truly improve those experiences margins? Now, this has been really difficult in the past because having a real-time conversation, it really needs to boil into, in terms of looking at what are the costs associated with understanding a real-time conversation and how can we actually reduce those costs, but still provide very, very rich data and environment coming out of the environment. At the same time, we've got to look at, associated with the customer experience. We know that if an agent is having a really positive experience, we know that the customer will have a positive experience, and we've seen the numbers and have the research to correlate those two in terms of great agent experience equals a great customer experience. And so at the same time, what does that look like in terms of the overall experience that we're providing them, and as they communicate with us, can we actually derive and understand that they're having a positive or negative experience with the interactions with our organization? At the same time, it really does, start to look, all end up in, is this an opportunity to fill the funnel and help them, help organizations that want to understand their customers better to drive revenue and drive adoption with these real-time services? And so when we think about those use cases centered around what the real-time call telephony and getting that media in can provide, this is really in terms of an agent assist, or what answers can we provide these agents real time. We've also seen in terms of the numbers that many call centers that we interact with have very, very high attrition, between 60 to 150% attrition year over year. That's an unbelievable amount of time and money that it takes to train people for them just to walk out the door. And so we have a lot of those dollars that we're spending there. Again, remember, one of those business drivers is cost, centered around really providing an agent a good experience. Even though they may not be fully trained, what is it that we can do real time to help them understand how to have a better, more contextual conversation to solve those answers of those customers? At the same time, can we actually utilize these to drive better sentiment? Positive and negative. A lot of people think that we just focus in on the customer sentiment, but what about the agent sentiment? What about the supervisor sentiment? As we add those key elements and those data points to understand if it's positive or negative, we can get not only an aggregate view, but all the way down to a very seamless call view of what the customer sentiment is turn by turn, and understand if they're trending up or trending down in terms of those conversations. The other piece is, again, when we start to solve these problems in terms of personal touch at scale, how do we actually route according to getting the right agent associated with the right customer, so we can actually have that conversation actually solve their problems and create a better experience? So call routing is absolutely essential. A lot of systems will profess that they have dynamic routing and or proficiency-based routing and or predictable routing. However, when we truly get into it, it really is, there's so many data points that we need to understand, and having a real-time feed of that information is really critical. That also bleeds into the notion of having quality management. And if we're looking at the quality of a call, what are some things that we can do if that call's starting to go south and the agent isn't able to control it? What can we do when we have supervisors that are monitoring these calls and actually proactively alert them that the call is going south and actually barge them in to help save the call and save the actual customer experience. It's an amazing thing when we actually can look at also the efficiencies centered around when an agent is going through that call, they've spent a lot of time trying to understand what's going on, and sometimes these calls span multiple minutes, even into hours. So it's hard for us to hold them accountable to reference every single aspect of that call that they've talked about in, let's say, some call notes or a post-call wrap-up. So what we can do is actually take that transcription then of that real-time call and actually then provide them maybe better, more insightful annotations on top of that. So we can ask them questions like, did you talk about this topic? Did you talk about this? Did you talk about this? And they can go in and add their notes and actually spur and remember those memories of the call and actually get through call wrap-up more efficiently, but at the same time with better data to confirm that call. Part of those call wrap-up notes go into, as you can imagine, the overall disposition of a call. So understanding that better is really critical for some of those downstream quality management, as well as just overall customer management type of scenarios and data that we get into, which is actually part of one of the downstream benefits of actually having the call recordings there as well, so we can truly understand what was spoken about and derive a ton of information out of key entities and phrases that were spoken about, as well as just overall, accuracy and confidence scores. So these are the real-time use cases that we're talking about in terms of the benefits that we can actually utilize and actually go and apply these this approach to in terms of real-time, media, real-time calling, and augmenting these services within an existing environment today. Now, it doesn't come without its pain points, though. So in a lot of environments we walk into, there's legacy systems that have been there for years, prem or cloud, it doesn't matter. And so those legacy systems have been there to provide them with call centers or with just overall calling. And sometimes they're plagued by multi-year contracts that they're not going to get out of anytime soon. And so lifting and shifting them to, let's say, a more contemporary call center platform that has these technologies built in is not feasible. So part of those key pieces is it gives us the ability to go in and augment and help them stick these managed services in with their existing environment, so that they don't have to worry about peak versus non-peak or elasticity or the agility needed, that they've also had to plan for in a prem system and buy all the hardware and software associated with that in terms of not knowing, let's say, what's the the next peak that they have to scale to. These managed services that we have for these environments just auto scale, right? That's why they're a benefit to these environments. And so augmenting what they've already done also gives them that elasticity and agility that they haven't had previously. At the same time, with those huge CapEx costs that they've utilized and sunk into these systems in the past, again, these managed services are all consumption based. And so we can actually alleviate a lot of these areas of like per head pricing or the maintenance costs that have gone into hardware and software, and provide them better operational efficiencies and operational excellence because of the managed services that we're utilizing to augment their existing telephony and augment their existing call center environment with these AI services, as well as these key connectivity services. So let's dive a little bit deeper into exactly what we're talking about in terms of the solution to address this. So when we look at this, it's really some key components associated with streaming this media into the AI and ML services from AWS. So the first piece of this is that the streaming the telephony, we can do SIP or SIP-REC across the Chime voice connector from Amazon. And this allows us to augment their existing telephony environment by forking that audio over. At the same time, we can also take that telephony stream across a WebSocket or across HTTP2 as well to get those over to the automatic speech recognition or Amazon Transcribe, and then pass that speech recognition over to our natural language processing technology called Amazon Comprehend. Once we have that streaming capability intact, plus the AI and ML services, we can provide a very rich set of data and analytics for, like we talked about, real-time assistance in those use cases, as well as post-call analytics in a QA. So let's do this. Let me hand the presentation over to Sachin to double-click a little bit deeper on the telephony and the streaming. Over to you, Sachin.
Thanks, Chris. Hey folks, this is Sachin. I'm an engineering manager with Amazon Chime. I'm here to give you an overview of Amazon Chime Voice Connector, its features and benefits, and hopefully able to convince you by end of this presentation why you should be using Amazon Chime Voice Connector over your WebSocket or a custom-built WebSocket or HTTP to solve. So that said, let's get started. So what is Voice Connector? In a nutshell, Voice Connector is a secure, highly available, and easy to manage AWS service that enables enterprise to migrate their telephony workload to AWS. It supports streaming of telephone call audio, US DIDs, toll-free numbers, and calling to over 115 countries. Voice Connector takes full advantage of AWS security fundamentals to meet your IT security needs. We support private connections between your premises and AWS using AWS Direct Connect. We also support SIP over TLS and SRTP for voice packets. We are intensely focused on availability. Voice Connector is built from the ground up for high availability. We use multiple carriers for call routing. We use multiple geographically separate AWS regions and multiple data centers within those regions to ensure high availability. From management perspective, we believe in making everything self-service. You can simply log on to the AWS Management Console and start provisioning Voice Connector. Our provisioning and management is also available through AWS CLI and AWS SDK APIs, depending on your need. Now that we know what is Amazon Chime Voice Connector, let's talk a little bit about the features or the benefits of using it in your streaming scenarios. We have low utility-based pricing. In other words, you only pay for what you use. We have ensured it's easy to set up, and we have tested it with major session border controllers or SBCs. We record caller and callee audio separately. This improves accuracy of your transcripts and also makes it possible to run automated actions like transcription and sentiment analysis on just one track. While we suggest and prefer you use AWS machine learning services, we kept it fully extensible. With programmatic access to your audio, you can integrate it with your existing analytics pipeline if you choose to do so. We have various connectivity options with Amazon Chime Voice Connector. You can use it to trunk your call utilizing our low calling rates while also stream audio, or you can forward the call audio from your on-premises SBCs. We support SIP-based recording or SIPREC and network-based recording or NBR specifically for Cisco telephony backends. As audio is stored in KVS, you can use it for both real-time and post-call analytics. You can also set up retention on KVS to get yourself a very cheap recording solution. Post-call recordings are critical. When you think about having an existing call center environment that may have a quality management system that takes the recording for operational reporting, but then encodes them into a proprietary or reduced fidelity format, and in other words, makes it super hard for you to get access to it. In addition to, as I said before, in addition to AI ML capabilities, this solution acts as a media generator and creates a high fidelity channel separated audio file that you can store in S3. These files can then be used for your post-call analytics or recording needs. Now that we have understood Voice Connector, we have understood how to use it for your streaming needs and what connectivity options you have. Let me refer back to the slide which Chris showed you, where you saw there are two options. Either you can go via Amazon Chime Voice Connector using telephony primitive, or you can build custom solution to directly access ASR and NLP using the HTTP or HTTP2 protocol. So let's talk about what are some of the benefits of Amazon Chime Voice Connector is over any custom solution. So we all know building a voice analytics over telephony audio is a very complex thing. First and foremost, finding developers with correct mix of telephony and backend service development experience is hard. Initial development costs can add delays. It costs to scale. Our prediction models are not always accurate and can cause over or underscaling. This can result in wastage of resources or even worse, service availability issues. And finally, call metadata is not fully available, making it hard to correlate caller or callee with recordings. All these add risk and unnecessary delays to these projects. With Voice Connector, you get velocity, flexible cost, elasticity, and full metadata access, including additional SIPREC and NVR metadata fields. This provides ultimate flexibility to correlate and search on any field, be it timestamp, call ID, or Cisco quit. Based on our assessment, Voice Connector helps you save almost 20% over any custom-built solution. So now that we have talked about how to bring telephony call audio and call metadata to AWS Cloud, let me invite my colleague, Priyank, to talk a little bit about ASR and NLP capabilities of AWS. Over to you, Priyank.
Thanks, Sachin. Hi, everyone. This is Priyank. I am product manager for Amazon Transcribe at AWS. Now that you have learned how to stream your call audio to AWS, the next step is, what do you do with this? As you all know, that audio data is virtually impossible for computers to search and analyze. Therefore, the speech needs to be converted to text to perform any kind of analytics. That is where Amazon Transcribe comes into picture. You can use Amazon Transcribe to convert speech to text, or what we also call automatic speech recognition, or ASR. Once you have speech in the form of text or transcribed, as the next step, you perform natural language processing. You can use Amazon Comprehend for this purpose. You can use both of these services, Amazon Transcribe and Amazon Comprehend, in real-time or batch mode. The real-time mode can be used for use cases like real-time agent assist, sentiment analysis, or supervisor alert. The batch mode can be used for post-call analytics for use cases like deriving customer experience insights or agent coaching. Now let us look at each of these services in a bit more detail. Let's look at Amazon Transcribe first. So Amazon Transcribe is a fully managed automatic speech recognition service, which gives you accurate transcription. You can use it for transcribing real-time calls or transcribing your existing call recordings. For real-time transcription, you can stream the call audio to transcribe using either HTTP2 or WebSocket protocol, and you receive a continuous stream of text in return. When it comes to post-call analytics, you can send your recorded calls as audio files stored in S3 to transcribe, and you get the whole transcription as a file in the form of a transcription file as an output. Now we talked about getting accurate transcription from Transcribe. But in addition to accurate transcription, Transcribe also offers a rich set of metadata to enable powerful analytics for any kind of downstream natural language processing. It provides timestamps for every word, so you can align the text with the audio and easily find a word or phrase in the call audio. You get word level confidence score to indicate accuracy of each word. The output text has punctuation, which makes it easy to read even for humans. And finally, the speech is attributed to individual speakers. The speaker changes are automatically recognized for up to 10 speakers. You can also customize transcription in many different ways. You can add new words to the base vocabulary to generate more accurate transcriptions for domain-specific words and phrases like product names, technical terms, or names of individuals. You can filter profanity, or you can even redact sensitive personal information, which will make it easy for you to share these transcripts within your organization for any kind of downstream analytics. Now that we have covered what you can do in terms of speech recognition, let's look at the next task of natural language processing done through Comprehend. So Comprehend can discover insights and relationship in text. The text could be from anywhere. It could be social media text, email, tickets, and even call transcripts. In the context of this webinar, we are focused on call transcription. Amazon Comprehend has pre-trained models for detecting entities such as places, people, brand, or events. It can find key phrases in a given text, understand how positive or negative the sentiment is, and automatically organize a collection of text files by topic. So this is what you get out of the box without any custom training from your side. Now we do understand that you can have call transcripts that contain text that is very specific to your organization or your business. Transcripts can have specific product names, policy numbers, part numbers, or complaints about specific issues pertaining to your business or your organization. You can train Comprehend to extract specific entities or assign specific labels to call transcripts. Let us dive a bit deeper into these capabilities. So let's first look at how Comprehend extracts entities, key phrases, and sentiment. As you see in this example, we provided a text blurb, which could also be a call transcript to Comprehend, and Comprehend was able to extract organization name, location, things like that. Similarly, key phrases, which is basically key noun phrases that existed in the text, and also the sentiment. Given these pieces of information in the context of call center analytics, you can pull up knowledge base articles, for example, to serve in front of agent to save his time as per the agent assist use case, so that the agent can now focus on having a conversation with the customer and not trying to search for specific articles on the fly. Now let's look at another example, which is a very common phenomena in case of call center conversation. You have incoming calls coming in, and you need to often classify or categorize these calls based on the issue, why the customer is calling, right? And often these issues might be very specific to your business or context. You can train a classifier very easily using Comprehend. All you do is you have a CSV file on which you have two columns. In the left column, you provide labels, which are basically specific issues pertaining to your context. And on the right column, you provide representative examples for that label. We recommend that you provide up to 50 labels for each label, 50 examples for each label. Once you have this CSV file in S3, you kick off a training job. Comprehend will do everything for you. You don't need any machine learning experience. You can even use console to kick off the training job. We have had even the business users being able to classify, create a classifier for themselves without the help of any developer or data scientist. Once you kick off the training job, Comprehend will automatically select an algorithm, do the tuning, and even do the testing for your classifier in terms of what accuracy you are getting. So if you need to do further iterations with more examples, you can do so. And finally, you have a classifier ready to go for you to classify any incoming issues or call transcripts. Each model allows you up to 1,000 labels or 1,000 classes. So it is very versatile classifier that you have at your hand, which is completely customizable. Now I will ask Chris to actually show all of that we covered in our webinar so far in action through a demo.
Please enter the number you wish to call.
Hello, this is the bank. What can I do for you?
Hi, I lost my credit card.
Oh, so I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Can I verify your account number?
Yes, it's 8675309.
Okay, 8675309. Okay, great. So, Miss Joey, so can I verify a few more pieces of information with you so we can make sure that
Sure.
we get this all taken care of? Can you verify the last 2 transactions you made?
One for Target for $65 and one at Smith's Marketplace for $97.
Okay, great. So that account number was 8675309. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, so I do see those 2 transactions. I don't see any other transactions on here. So it looks like there's no fraudulent activity, which is a good thing. And ma'am, what I'll be doing is, do you need to use the card today?
I do.
Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to replace your card. I'm going to have to put a hold on it, but I'll do that later today, and if we see any fraudulent activity, we'll notify you. But I'm going to place a hold and then replace your card within 72 hours. Would that work for you?
That would be great. Thank
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, that's already done, ma'am, and that's going to be sent out. Is there anything else I can help you with?
you. No, that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Have a great day. Okay, so in that interaction between the agent and the caller, what we're able to do is capture the agent information with the start time and end time stamps of each turn, pick up the overall sentiment of the actual sentence, as well as pick up the key entities. We're utilizing Transcribe to pick up the transcription, as well as Comprehend to actually pick up the entities and the sentiment. And so what you can also see here is when utilizing keywords, we've also been able to actually create a agent interaction that could be really anything. A data dip could be, an answer that's key about some piece of information that we're talking about, and then I could actually utilize those to resolve that. So that's on the real-time transcription piece of that. On the post-call analytics piece, what we also have the ability to do is, since we're storing this information into Dynamo, we're also able to pull that information out quickly and actually then see exactly what's going on with that call in a post-call scenario. This could be something that could be for supervisor barge-in or whatever. And so it gives us the ability to take all that rich metadata as well as data out of the phone call, like for the direct inward dialing or the other information that's from the SIP header information. And we could actually then see exactly what those calls were in terms of having a lost credit card. So here's the call that we just made, and we already have it 4 minutes ago. We already have it ready to go in terms of making it searchable. I can look up keywords here as well as see the merged or unmerged audio and get an idea of really what's going on. So this could change fundamentally the way that we look at quality management systems.
Okay, so what you saw in the demo was a real-time voice feed via a telephony environment talking to an SBC via SIPREC into the Chime voice connector. We took that audio stream over into Kinesis video streams and then into Transcribe. Once we got into Transcribe, we transcribed the data and put it into a Dynamo environment, as well as threw it into an S3 bucket. That gave us the ability, as you saw in the demo, to read out via Comprehend those keywords in not only the turn-by-turn timestamps as well as the sentiment and then the agent action that off of the account number. They gave us the ability to actually see and do additional things off of that action. At the same time, we actually captured the key entities within those phrases of the turn-by-turn transcription. And then what you also saw was us take and read out the audio recordings from S3 back into the Amplify application and show you what maybe a supervisor's view might be off of, let's say, a post-call type of scenario by utilizing all that data and seeing the transcription as well as the two separated channels of audio as well as the merged audio. So the beauty of this example that we showed is that, one, we put it together so that, one, we could show the capabilities of everything that was discussed by Sachin as well as by Priyank, and then actually hand it over to you. So the other key services here in terms of CloudWatch and Amazon SQS is there to provide more additional help in terms of supporting the cast of characters that's going on within the actual demo. So for you that actually want to actually do this, we actually have those two projects set up here in terms of these two links in the GitHub repositories. We would love for nothing more for you guys to install these two projects and then give us the feedback. Now, let me give you a simple caveat here. So the first project, and they're dependent on one another. The first project gives us the ability to have the Amazon Chime connector wire up to Transcribe. The only thing is that you need to make sure you have Amazon Chime already provisioned, right? So you can actually go in, provision the account number, and provision that number, and then associate that with the actual project itself. At the same time, once you're done with that, you can install the second project and then have that Amplify app with Comprehend to pull in all the NLP as well as all those other rich capabilities that you saw. Okay, and so we definitely want to see and have you all install this and then get the feedback. And please, in the GitHub repository, in those source environments, please give us the comments there, as well as if you have any direct feedback. So I want to thank you for the time you spent with us, and I'd like to thank my colleagues Priyank and Sachin for going through and deep diving into those services that give us the ability to utilize Amazon Chime voice connector plus the AI and ML services of Amazon Transcribe and Amazon Comprehend, so that you can actually augment your existing telephony environment as well as your call center. Thank you. So at this point, let's turn it over to some questions that you might have in the field.